Happy, happy Wednesday. It's kind of dark. Let me go throw another light on. Hopefully that's a little better. Well, there's a couple other. So while we're waiting for people to sign on and join us, I'm going to cut paper for another embossing folder that is brand new that we'll kind of use tonight. So bear with me. So tonight, we have a lot of new Sizzix, so I thought that's what I would feature. So we have some new Halloween and we have some new fall. So this is one of the new folders from Tim, so I'm going to just run it through while we're waiting for people to join us, and I will be right back. Oh, that's kind of cool. Very cool. I love embossing folders. And I've loved them since they were regular folders. Now they have these amazing 3D folders. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have, if you guys remember the dot one from Cuttlebug, and how many years ago that one came out. Like, that was a staple for everybody. How many of you guys have one of those dot Cuttlebug embossing folders? How many of you guys liked embossing folders? I love them. So anyway, so I have, let me grab I have my go-to embossing folders. Let's see if I can grab them out of my drawer. So I'm sure I'm not alone, but I have probably two other containers filled with embossing folders. I have another fourth one that is all my seasonal embossing folders, but I just, and then I have, some of the larger size embossing folders. So I have my share. See, for me, when it comes to the card making, it's all about texture. I love texture and layers. So the fact that these embossing powders allow us to add texture to our designs is definitely something that is like right up my alley. So let's get started. Where should I start? I'm not going to start with embossing folders quite yet. We have a couple new fall dies that came out from Sizzix. This one is very, very intriguing. It has these dimensional flowers. And I didn't get a chance today. It was a crazy day. I worked, had to go to the dentist, came home, had dinner, and ran up here. But if you can see this, these have all these score lines. And I think when we die cut it, you can actually fold it to get some dimension. And these little circles kind of made those little flower pods. So I think you fold them and put a couple of them together. And then this little flower here is here, and they have these little tabs, so I'm assuming that they kind of fold up and attach to each other to create kind of like these little pods. So this one, I'm going to definitely play with it, come back with a sample, and I'll show you how I put it together. But it just looks really kind of cool. And then this one, I'm not even sure what this is. Like I said, I'll have to play with it. These little flowers here are done with this die cut. So you'll have to join me at a later date. Maybe next Wednesday we'll do this. We're starting to get a lot of orders in. Like I said, the past 2 weeks have been kind of crazy. We had a week of classes, then we had, a week of shopping, which I definitely did. And so we have a lot of new products that have actually shipped out already. For those of you that were interested in the embossing powders, there's several of you that I set aside because you had mentioned in the Facebook Live the powders that I got in. They came in, so they'll be out on the floor tomorrow. And you can actually get those online too. But so if you can't come into the store, you can order those online. So those came in today, and a couple ladies asked for special adhesive. Those came in today. So we're doing our best as we're moving around the store, trying to make room for all this new product that's coming in. So yes, Paula, your repositionable adhesive came in. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to go back and look at. And the reason I got these squirrels, besides the fact that they're really kind of darn cute, is there's always a couple people that ask for squirrels in the fall. And this is a sweet little die, and I love the fact that, if for nothing else, the little leaves and the mushroom and the acorn are adorable. So this is new from Sizzix. I think I'm getting into Halloween, and I was never, a big lover. Like Mona loves Halloween, and we have several other customers, they live and die for Halloween. But this year there are so many intriguing dies and some stamps for Halloween. I'm actually really kind of getting excited about it. This is just a cute little set, and I thought for nothing else, I would consider these perfect for adding little embellishments on my cards. There's the little tombstone, you have a pumpkin, you have a slice of pie, the candles, the ghost, the bat, and your black cat. So just another kind of sweet little die. Now this die, I love. This is, wildflowers and anything flowers I love. And this has that fall kind of thing to it. And so this one I gravitated right to. So this one I'm actually, I did die cut some pieces earlier. So in this set, these are the pieces that you get. And I can see myself using like this die all the time. And this die, I just, not in with this grouping, but added in my cards. So let's see. You know what? I forgot my, let me grab my brown. I got other colors other than my brown. Okay, so this is actually one of my all-time favorite pads. It's the Vintage Photo, and this is actually my original pad. And it probably definitely needs to be re-inked, but I'm afraid to re-ink it because I'm afraid that my original color is going to be different than that bottle of ink. So this one I use just like this, and then I have another vintage photo pad that I refill and add ink to. Because I think somewhere along the way, and these came out how many years ago? I think the color kind of changed. So what I'm going to do is just add a little inking of some vintage photo on. Some of these little pieces. Try to catch if I was taking my time, I'd probably slide a little piece of paper underneath there, but we're just going to do it like this. And then just adding that, just shows more dimension on that. And if you notice, when I do my ink, I kind of hold my piece so that I don't bend it or rip it. Some of these are really delicate. And of course you can do other colors. Half the time I never even, because I have one dedicated pad just for vintage photo, my little tool, and at this point who knows where it is. I half the time never have to ink. Now on this one, I thought I would add some bundle sage. I'm going to go outside my box because it's just paper, and if I'm not happy with it, I can just ink over it, or I can die cut a new piece. I wanted like an earthy color. I didn't want anything bold. And the two that I'm using right now are actually distress inks, not oxides. So we have a little bit of that bundled sage in there. Do a little bit on the stem. Oh, I forgot to grab those little new little ink pad things that you can ink so your pads aren't sliding all over the place. So what I did is I die cut a circle, and I have a craft square. And I was going to use this as my base. And just kind of place these. I think I'm going to go and grab a purple. I think I'm going to add a little bit of purple on there. Let me grab that quickly. Let's say milled lavender. See, this does not bother me. I have brown on here and I'm going into the purple. Especially when I'm doing something distressed anyways. This might be a little bit too dark. We'll mix them. And I'm just kind of lightly pouncing on it to add a little bit of purple. I have a hard time growing lavender. I don't know if this is sage or lavender, but every year I get new plants and they flower, and then next year I look for them and they're not there. So I have a soft little purple back there. have the green little stem. I might use that in the back. I'll put those off to the side a little bit. And then we have the echinacea, or purple coneflower. We'll add that in there. And then there's this little other purple flower. Let's see. We'll add a little green on him. And if you notice, like I want it actually probably off to the side a little bit. And then I grabbed earlier a purple ribbon. This is the seam binding, and you can ink these. Maybe I'll show you that one day. I don't have any plain, I didn't plan on it, but you can ink them using your Distress inks. And this is our bow maker. Highly, highly recommend everybody own a bow maker. You actually get 4 pegs. That's because when you lose two of them, you still can make a bow. No, they're actually so you could do double bows and stuff. You kind of decide, I think I'm going to go here. You have to remember when you do the bow maker, your back side is the front of your bow. So my bow is probably going to be that 2 inches. So you take your ribbon and you wrap it back and forth. I'm making a double bow, so I went twice. In the back, you crisscross it and bring your bow to the front. And this is the front of your bow, and you want this part smooth. Just pull it over and tie a knot in the back. And after you practice a little bit, you're kind of guaranteed these perfect little bows. Let's slide this over. You can see that better. And I'm going to attach that onto the front of that card. And I'll go and look. I might just add a couple little sequins or something over there. But pretty much I think I'm going to leave it just like that. So that is using this new die from Sizzix, and that's the Delicate Autumn Stems. So when I get this completely together, I'll definitely post it so you can see it. Now my other thought was, there's a really cool new embossing folder that just came in. This is a 3D from Eileen Hull. And it has this kind of, what do they call it? Like it's woven leather. But look how cool this is. And these are, and this is the back side. I mean, this might be the front side. And then that's the back side. Each side is like pretty cool. That might be an option instead of the smooth craft paper, is using this behind it. The color is off, but you can see by adding that little bit of texture, that kind of warms it up too. We do carry the bow maker in the store. I believe they are, you know how we have all the tools underneath the register and that front long counter? That's where they should be. But, so I might put that behind there. So when I complete the card, I'll show you, and you'll see what I decided to do. But I love, that's another kind of generic embossing folder that is not feminine, it's not masculine, it's just like perfect for so many things. So I hope you like that card. I love that card. And one of the things that I do, like, I don't know how many times, let me just bring this back a second. When you're kind of putting a card together and you love how it is, and now you got to take it all apart because you got to glue it, take a picture with your phone, so that when you dismantle it, you have something to go back to remember where your placement was. So that I found very, very helpful. Okay, embossing folders. This is a new one, and this is a 3D. This is called Acorns, and this is a new Tim Holtz one. And if you could see that, what I love about this is that background paper is distressed. And look at that dimension. This paper was just my 80-pound favorite cardstock that I use all the time. I did not spritz it. You know, a lot of times they'll say, so the paper doesn't crack, spritz the back of it with a little bit of water. I didn't even do that. And let me just show you. We'll go back to my good old Distress ink, and we actually probably have a little purple in here, which is fine by me. I always have scrap paper so I can kind of test it. And just rub across the top gently. And you can bring that folder to life. Now, if you press too hard, you might get like the deep part, and you kind of want to just rub it on the top. I'm adding a little bit of that milled lavender to it, just because it's here. One of the things that I love with embossing folders, sometimes I just like my white on white. This looks really cool. Adding maybe some gold, any of your gold glazing, you know, mixes from your stencils, adding a little bit on top of that, probably going and adding like multiple colors. I'll have to definitely play with this, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of samples coming up in the store with these. But very cool embossing folder. And that one is the Acorn. Let's see what we have next. This one is called Summer Wishes. So it's like the Queen's Anne's lace, which is definitely a weed, but I think one of the most beautiful weeds there is, and I just love it. And here I did one in pink and matting it. You know, I'll probably put a little mat underneath here, some stickles on, you know, the little flower top tips, and put my little message on there. Maybe put a bow on it, but we'll finish this one up so you can see. But I wanted to show you another way that you could use these. And I found if you use your lightest of your colors, of your Copics, you can just add a little bit of color to the top. This might be, well, it is very light, but Queen's Anne's lace, they are white, so I didn't want to make it too dark. Just adding a little bit of color actually makes that white background even whiter. And then when I go back and glitter this up, this will look really cool. And this is BG 70, and I think if I went and got BG 93 and added some of the little darker intermixed with this, it would even pop even more, but I'll go back and play. Oh, here's BG90. Just gently, like touching the top of the paper. And doing the stems. Kind of tricky, these little ones, because I'm trying to just touch the raised part. Start at the bottom of your leaf and kind of flick up. And I don't want to color the entire leaf. I just want to get a little darker at the base and have it kind of go out and fade out. And I'm just kind of using the side of the pen because it's just hitting the top. I think this is the BG70 again. By adding another layer, kind of deepens that. So these are the cards I'll go back and spend a little time finishing them up and adding the glitter and everything. And then I can show you these. Actually, we're not doing a Facebook on Saturday. We have Stamp Camp in the store, so that would be too hard to do. So I'm going to do a Friday at 2. We'll do a Facebook Live. And we have a lot of great new classes coming, so I'm going to share that with you. Any new product that came in, and my finished results of these cards that I kind of started on the Facebook Live. Can you see that color kind of like coming up then? Just really simple. Definitely probably going to cut this down. Definitely bigger than I want, but when I mat it and everything and add the glitter, it's going to be gorgeous. So that's the summer wishes. We have a couple Christmas ones. This is a new Snowflake 3D by Catherine Bryn from Sizzix, and this is just called Snowflakes. So we did one in craft, we did one in white, and we did one in a blue. So beautiful backgrounds. This one I love, another one, and this is Winter Foliage, and I don't know if you can see, you know, the little stems and berries, and then you have a little bit of holly and the holly berries, and I love the fact because I think it's very delicate, and here it is in a darker color, and sometimes just the white on white actually looks beautiful too. So Winter Foliage for that one. Now we get into the Halloween. This one, for those of you that absolutely love Halloween, this is the new 3D skulls. Pretty amazing that you can get this kind of look. So I did this one in white, and this one I used 100-pound weight paper, and I'm going to use my Pumice Stone, and this is the oxide. I thought pumice was like the perfect. This Pumice Stone is like one of these pads that you probably thought you would never want that color, but I tend to like gravitate towards it a lot because it's really not gray, it's not dark, kind of a taupey kind of color. I don't know if you can see those. You think that skull is too intense? We have customers that have waited a lifetime for something like this. I found it rather interesting. Creative Expressions, which is out of the UK, has their first Halloween release. And they don't do Halloween in England. And they're basically doing this for the US customers, I believe. And we have several great Halloween coming in from them. So can you see all those skulls? Very neat. And then here I did the skulls in a shiny, kind of an oyster colored paper. I don't know if this ink pad will stick to the shiny. It probably will once it's dry. And this one I'm probably going to add some black soot. Yeah, those skulls are pretty cool. So we'll be playing more with these and definitely have a cool sample out there for you. Can't wait till all the Halloween comes in because there's some really nice word dies coming from Creative Expressions that would be really cool on here. This lends itself to a lot of cool background techniques and stuff. So we'll have something really neat to share with you down the road. And especially once Mona gets her hands on it. The last thing I wanted to share with you is one of the die sets that I thought was going to be like super popular because I love just the look of it, because it can be grungy and it can be Tim-like, but it could be for everyone. It's these 3D Thinlit colorized pumpkins, and I wanted to just kind of explain how these work. Some pumpkins, or not pumpkins, some of the colorized have many more parts and pieces to them. This one wasn't too bad. I think this one had 12. But they have gotten so much more user-friendly over the last couple of years, and so don't be intimidated by it. So here are the pieces. So you have your outline, you have your solid base, and there's 2 pumpkins. And then you have your first layer and your second layer. And then each one, this one is the stem, and this is the stem for this. So hopefully you can see the different pieces that you have. On the back of each one, this one says A1 orange. So this one you're going to do orange. This one says A2 orange. And this is A3 orange. You could do different shades of oranges. You could do the same orange and then use your ink to shade and add texture. And then this one says 4. So you have 4 parts. So this is going to be your base. This one will go on top of there. Number 3 will go on top. And number 4. And if you look at these pieces, these lines here are not cutting lines, they're kind of scoring and folding lines. So when you cut this one out, it kind of fits in these spaces. So let me find a clean piece of paper. And our pumpkin pieces. So I did the base in green. I don't know if they tell you green here. They do. Green 1. So I did that in green. This is in orange. This one is orange. Orange. And this one in tan. So then I used my vintage photo and inked around each one. And if I can put these up so you can see. You can see those crease marks because this is going to fit right on top of there. So it shows you the exact placement. So I used actually 3 different color oranges. This goes over the whole base because now we have our green stem. This one is going to go next. I had to move it up so I can see those little lines up there. So we have the base, we have the first orange and the second orange. Now we're going to do the third. And when I did ink these, you know, I kind of held it and just carefully inked in those spaces. And I used my blending or my ink blending tool. The brushes are probably a little bit too soft. You don't get as much color on. It would take a long time. Lori, I see you want the skull. I'll save you the one that I just used over here. I'll take it out of the system and give me a call on Friday because I'm off tomorrow. Well, I'm not off, but I work from home, so I'll be doing stuff at home. But I'll remember to take that out. Got that little green stem on there. And then we have this little last piece. And I love the fact that on some of the papers, like the back one is smooth, but I have texture paper here. And there's that pumpkin. So these I had done earlier. So we have a little grouping of pumpkins. And because I'm notorious, even though I'm not leaving this space, I'm notorious for misplacing dies, especially little dies. So let me just put these all right back in the bag. So we have all our dies together. I have this, let's see. So here's that folder again, that texture folder. And I think I want to add a little brown ink on here. So I'm just going to use my vintage photo. If you notice when I'm doing the inking, I'm starting off the paper and working towards the paper. If you start on the paper, sometimes you're going to get like a mark that you can't get rid of. So just kind of playing with it. I'll have to look for a little sentiment, but I see using that little twine on here, the twine that we sell in the store. It's kind of the khaki colored one. I think I have some, so hold on one second. I have some brown, but this kind of twine we have in the craft. We actually have it in a rust. Might look really cool. I don't know where my spool is right now, but aren't those pumpkins really cool? On the ground of the pumpkin, I don't know, I have, like, if I would put something, oh, what do you mean to ground them? Not sure what you're asking, Robin, so. I think I like the 3 of them. But if you did the card this way, oh, so they aren't floating? I might have kind of, I don't know. I'd have to play with it. If you had, you can even cut a piece of paper, but if you just had a, piece of like brown that you can just cut out of cardstock or green and put that underneath, that might kind of do the trick. You wouldn't necessarily even need a die. I'm sure there's a die out there. I'm sure if I went through my stash, I would find something, but even cutting something and then just placing that underneath. But I don't find I don't find that they're really floating, because I do that a lot just with my dies, just kind of place them on there. But I think I like the 3, and I have to find a sentiment. There's some, just kind of play with them. I mean, you can put them in the center, you could put an oval in there, but just a lot of fun, and they're super easy to do. Yeah, You can shade underneath, but not on this texture paper, but the shading would be really cool too. You can do that same kind of thing just with your marker. If your paper was, you know, if you had a white background and then kind of do something like that. That's what I think Kim is talking about. Definitely not that, that's not the right green. I'd probably use, you know, more of that, like the W Copic markers. They're a little bit more worn, but we'll see what I end up coming up with. Anybody have any questions? Let's see, I actually have in my little basket over here. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, it's just playing with what you have and, you know, pulling out stuff from your stash. This is my little basket of like some twines and threads and stuff. You never know what you're going to find in there. I did not see, Robin, so shoot me an email and I can make sure that I can add it to your basket or your box, your pizza box. We are in the process, among everything, having a sale in the store this week, having Stamp Camp on the weekend and having it on Monday, moving everything around in the store to totally confuse everyone. Maker Mania kits are being put together and getting ready to be shipped. We have a meeting tonight, so I'll have more information on when those will be coming out. We may, once we put all our kits together, I think I have a kit or two left. So if you're thinking about Maker Mania and definitely want to do it, we will let you know Friday or next week if we have any kits left. And then you can join us and see what all that fun is about. So I don't think there's any questions out there. So I think I'm going to let you go. I'm going to kind of, during our meeting, while everybody's talking, I'm going to finish and complete a couple of these cards and share these with you. So look for us. Hey, Dawn, are you in Alaska still? Dawn's been traveling, and she has some beautiful pictures from Alaska. So I don't know if she's back home or still out on a cruise ship. So anyways, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again on, I'll see you guys on Friday at 2 o'clock. If things change, just watch, I'll post it. But thanks for joining me, and I hope you liked what we did tonight. Have a great evening. Oh, you want to see the skull? I can show you the skulls. So this I did on a kind of pearly paper with the black soot. And then this one I just did on a heavy cardstock in white and used the pumice stone. And that's the skull. And it is called Skulls. Anybody want to see anything else before I sign off? All right, so I'm going to let you go, everyone. Have a great evening. Stay cool.